Hey, you guys. So I'm laying on the couch, and oh, there's the staff that I made over there. Mia and Savea, that's got your presents on it that I got you. And um, I want to put you. Yeah, it's got your presents, and those bracelets that I made that you made me, or you made Steve. You mean So I yeah, I was thinking about. Well, I was thinking about like some stuff in the other room, and I thought, well, isn't that funny how, and it's not a fear of mine. I talked about my fears yesterday about lies and about truth. And I guess I was always afraid of, giving up. And I'm not afraid of giving up or afraid of letting go. And I'm not, because I already did that and let go when I healed that physical body that Tara was sitting in, or, that physical body with some other spirit in it that was in court. Because I didn't sense her in there. I mean, and usually she just looked empty. And so I thought, you know what? This is an interesting thing. Is that since I'm ruling the matters of the heart and spirit, I was thinking, wouldn't that have been a really interesting way to try to get to me or to get to Stephen, is to let the physical aspect of beings. Oh, there's those little sparrows. I love them. Um, I'm just singing right out there. They're beautiful. And I'm more of a spiritual being, and well, I had these arguments about sexuality and stuff, and about, originally what kind of being would judge what kind of man-made idea, and that was what it was in some religious beliefs. And I say religious because it was indoctrination into like a certain thing. But spiritual beings would be free to be just like, they see inner beauty inside of they see the inner beauty and not so much the external, beauty that people have. And I have always had my mind like, just, you know, somewhere. And I was thinking about, in the worlds of possibility, there are beings that are far beyond what man created to represent the idea of, I don't know, that, did you hear that? That like cloud pitched, well, anyways, it's strange. I've heard that since I was a little boy, you know, and anyway, so I would, yeah. So there are beings, and there are probably beings that could reach through, you know, worlds, far, far away. And maybe, maybe some beings in other worlds or other possibilities can sense and feel like spirits, or, lost brothers and sisters that, you know. And I see, what's weird about Stephen is that he can just be, okay, I can believe that, and then that would be a belief. And I do like to experience new cultures and you know, new possibilities. It's also interesting that nature is so misunderstood sometimes. You know, I watch it and I just look around and I'm like, it's beautiful, nature. And, destructive. And that is, by nature, that's how it is. Um, but yeah, I was thinking about that. And, even as a small child, I saw beauty in things and people that, either maybe they didn't think that they were beautiful. And I still find, you know, many things beautiful. People and others. And yeah, so getting back to the thing about court and about my willingness to help, even if that means I give up the physical plane of existing with others, I still have spirit and souls. So I am able to kind of move beyond it. Like I had said before, sometimes I feel like I am beyond it. I'm beyond their reach. And I'm trying to probably, like, you know, just, I'm here. I'm just trying to, like, and I think a lot of other, well, I don't know how to explain that. When I was having that conversation in the other room while I was making some jello, and I put marshmallows on them again, but I mixed lime, and I know this is how I am. I just am like talking about spirituality, and then it was like I mixed lime and lemon together and put marshmallows on top, and then put a plate on top of it. Yeah. So I was just fascinating. Sometimes with the conversations I have within here, and even if this physical body is an outward representation, sometimes I think my mind goes to the future, way future, or, and I always say the future is now and it's the present. But sometimes I think there's a reach that's coming from somewhere outside of the known ideas about time and space. And I know it's hard to imagine what are those unknown issues about time and space. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. And I challenge you to come up with words that describe the unknown aspects of time and space that aren't already words. I know. I know, right? It's crazy. I don't know. I know my counsel. I'd be like, no, 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 don't, you know. I just walk around. I'm going to walk around to him later and go, you're on my side, my side, my side, my side, my side, my side. It just, get on the same page, you know. And I'm going to go outside today. Oh, I start work tomorrow. So that's good. And the state board in nursing said that they're going to um, mail me my final, eviction of their disorder. And I was like, oh, please just take it away from me. See, I gave so much to my profession when I was a nurse, and now they're taking it away from me. That give and take thing, and so, I give information and you freely take it, and so It's interesting. I've got like these other, you know, things going on up here, and sometimes I'm like, what are we gonna? I can almost feel that like energy moving around, and I'm just like, so it it sometimes is. Well, it's difficult. I sometimes think that Sean and I live in a museum of ancient artifacts. I know it's not like, I don't know. I guess I talk to other people up here when I talk to the cats, and then I talk to other people, and I'm like, what do you think? Yeah, and a lot of times they're in agreement. Um, and talking about getting back to like, well, we've already talked about spiritual beliefs being magical beliefs, and I think that, well, it's just, I remember, and I talked about it yesterday, but I remember when I was a little boy just saying, please take me away from it. Please take me. Not like out of body experiences, because I've had those. And maybe that's what I mean when I talk about like, um, you know, having different places, you know, happening on in this brain. And I don't know. It's an interesting idea. We used to have like these, well, and maybe that's what I do sometimes is I project, images or, and I always wonder how much, and this is interesting. I've never really like looked at that as being being like something to study. But I mean, if you're in like a natural kind of healing environment in our community, and not that it matters with research, but it would be interesting to see what percentage of the population, like males, females, ladies or gentlemen, like how much of their time is spent like inside their minds or outside their minds. Like they said I was only 15% in my body most of the time. Because I'm out traveling, like these places in my in my mind. So, it'd be interesting, and not that research that kind of like lowers the idea of it. But I wonder if that would give more acceptance to that as a healing art, and where that place belongs in medicine, and how far people distorted medicine. Not that medicine doesn't have its place. I said this in the past. We created diseases, and then we created names, and everybody had to have a name for something. And that, not we, but people created names for this. And once that name got assigned to something, then people started getting diagnosed and diagnosed and diagnosed and diagnosed and diagnosed and diagnosed. And like ADHD like exploded overnight, pretty much, you know. And I don't care if I say this, it's because they could bill insurance. And because parents weren't setting rules that they could follow, and people were lying to their children, and children are smart enough to know better. And so that's where the trouble lies. I mean, and I'm not saying don't. I'm saying listen to the physicians and nurses. But there's like, they tried like exercise. Like you know, I don't know. Oh, let's see, enough. I'm gonna go outside in a little bit. I gotta do some more. Oh, this bright light always behind me. Hold on. I gotta move around. All right, just here we go on the tour again. Parade of homes. I'd like to see some other people's homes. I don't know. People have always been like, how can you have all that kind of like symbolism around you all the time? And I always have had, symbolism around me. And it doesn't necessarily mean always the same thing. Because people will go, oh, you're really Christian. And it was like, I would be like, why would you think that? And it goes, well, you have all the religious artifacts. And I said, I can look at those and be like, that is representation of, the father. And that is the representation of the mother. And that is, so I can look at it and think, I like the artwork. And I like the belief. And people were, dedicated to belief. And they made beautiful art. And I like that. And I have other artwork that I don't show, and so, yeah, I gotta open up the windows. He's like, he looked at me this morning, he was like, "Arr." I was like, come on, like, I saw him running around last night, though. Yeah, I have never walked into somebody's house, really, I don't think, and said, oh, I looked at their art and thought, oh, that must, I was like, well, no, we have different tastes in art, and, I like, and I can walk up to a painting and go like, wow, and then stand back and go, okay, you know, you know. Some of them, I mean, I wouldn't have in my house, but that's all right because it's. I kind of have. Yeah. I don't know why I'm saying all this. Yeah. We're still getting over here. So, anyways, I don't know if anybody saw that one video from last night outside, walking around. It's mostly all white with black dots, and that camera I use is so shaky that it's like the lights are moving all over the place, and it's hard to angle it because every time I turn the camera lens, it like flips this way, or it's like and then it's hard to like hold the camera and like figure out which. I don't know. It's different. So, and then I had this conversation about, well, some people would like to have seen your life changed in the past. And I said, that is no. And they go, well, they would have liked to have seen you gone in a different direction. And I said, I went on the direction I was supposed to go on. And I looked at a photo and I said, oh, I wonder who wasn't happy with that. And I was like, that's all right. that's okay, you know. So, I mean, I think it's important to go and understand that you're going to be going, our people or others are going to go in the direction that they go in, you know. And that doesn't, I got all these cords. I got to get my cords out. It's going to be cold. Um, I shouldn't say cords because they're so old that I've worn holes in the pockets, and the fronts of them are all faded off. But I keep them because they're my favorites. And one of these days I'll get some new clothes. You know, like I said I was older than dirt the other day, and this lady looked at me and she was like, "Yeah, you are." Um. Anyways, yeah. Well, looking around. I will talk later.